So let's jump into it. So today our topic is a Dallas couple had reported a crime, and it was basically about a kidnapper, a guy that had kidnapped some children and stuff like that. But once they reported the crime and they found out it was supposed to be reward money, they was basically denied the reward money, and even though that it was the correct person that they had reported. So let's jump into the story. Here goes some audio.
One to report a kidnapping suspect was told they are not eligible for a Crime Stoppers reward.
The Jordans were coming home from lunch July 7th when they noticed a face they recognized from the news and a Crime Stoppers billboard. 41-year-old Leonard Neal. With 6 children of their own, the Jordans had taken a good look at the man accused of abducting a 9-year-old boy and 7-year-old girl. Police say he released the boy, but the girl was missing for 12 hours. Police say he sexually assaulted her.
That could have very easily been our oldest 2 kids.
The Jordans did not just call police. Once Neal got on the bus, they knew they needed to follow it. After getting disconnected from 911, a Dallas police officer called Kenyatta Jordan. Police later released this mugshot.
I felt confident that it was him, but I just wasn't 100%. But then I let the window down, and I heard him on there screaming. I said, "That's him, baby. That's him."
Later, the Jordans learned about the Crime Stoppers reward that had been offered for Neal, a most wanted fugitive. But when they asked about it, they were told they were not eligible. As police work to build trust with the community, the Jordans say this feels like a breach of that trust.
Dallas couple who called.
Okay, so what do you guys think about that? Cause some people were saying like, well, at the end of the day, you did a good deed, so you shouldn't worry about the reward money. And then some people are saying like, no, that is very, shady. I personally do feel like that it is definitely a blessing that they reported that and they was just observing. They said that they didn't know nothing about the reward money, but let's just be real. I do feel like that you are breaking the trust of the community or anybody that wants to speak out when you put something out there like that. Granted, yes, the people need to report a crime or anything crazy, period, because that's just the right thing to do. But just imagine someone saying like, oh, okay, if you find this person and, we figure this out or whatever, we're going to give you an award for doing that. You got people out there that will really put their time and energy into a case that they feel like, hey, not only can I try to help find this person, but also I know if I find this person or this criminal and stuff like that, then I know it's going to be something at the end of the tunnel. Like, I could be going through it and be like, bam, if I get down on this case and find this person, I gotta, I got a reward coming. So I do feel like that, I can see both ends, but I feel like that, like they say, you're breaking the people's trust. Because some people's like, well, they shouldn't be making a big deal about it. Like, golly, what's the money? Was they only doing it for the money? These people got 6 kids. Not only was they doing it for, like you say, the safety of their kids, but you do have people that, that's looking at the fact of that that's still wrong. It is wrong. And I'm not trying to be funny because now it's already like a weird no snitch policy when it comes down to crimes and stuff like that. Now, I don't think nobody play about when it comes down to kids. So I feel like that I ain't never heard nobody sit up here and say, oh, whether I get money or not, I'm not going to snitch or say nothing about some kidnappers and, any type of criminal activities and stuff like that. Mostly that no snitch policy, from my understanding, is like street stuff, stuff like that really, is illegal, and stuff like that, but it ain't causing no harm. But with the kids are off limit. So granted, yeah, the people are, they needed the money, and regardless of the fact if they knew about the reward money or not. And then it's like, what makes them ineligible? I'm not gonna lie to y'all. So the other day, I've been watching Shy, right? The Shy, right? And this is the crazy thing about it. I was just watching The Shy, just watching it from beginning and trying to get up to this season. But it was basically a scene. If y'all remember, it was a scene with the girl Keisha, and when she got kidnapped by that man or whatever. Remind y'all, the homeless guy. You know what I'm saying? I forgot his name in the movie, but I mean in the show. But remember when the homeless guy was the one that basically made it his mission to, find her and this and that. And I mean, granted, he ended up getting blessed by a pastor and stuff like that at the end of the day. But just imagine you sitting over here just at the right time to save somebody's life. And then next thing you know, this man was homeless. He saved that girl. And then that stage, you know, it's like, okay, yo, you saved her, but you're ineligible. You're not the person. You know, like, what makes a person, like, if y'all talk about a person got to be an investigator or someone that has to have some type of qualifications or something like that, you guys need to make that clear at the beginning when y'all sit up here and say something about reward money, or don't put it out there. But y'all put it out there because at the end of the day, y'all know that that's what motivate people to speak up. So it's kind of like, regardless of the fact of their situation, how they look, or even if they got a criminal past or whatever, for them to speak up and save a life of a kid, you got to take the bullet and pay them people. Pay them. Like, that's the... So I do feel like that they are 100% wrong for that, because let's just keep it real. Next time them people might see something or anything like that, they either, one, can take stuff in their own hand, or two, they're not going to speak on it. And it does break the trust of other people in the community and stuff like that, because they might look at them and be like, dang, they didn't even get him the money and they got 6 kids and stuff like that. And yeah, I ain't speaking up. I ain't saying nothing. You know, I ain't even gonna, you know, waste my time. I'm just gonna play like it ain't a big deal. And that is definitely not the right thing to do when it comes down to crime activity. So what do you guys think about that? You know, do you feel like that they should have just go ahead and chop it up and just look at it at the end of the day? They had blessed, they had basically was a blessing in disguise because they helped out those kids that had got kidnapped? Or do you feel like that the reward money definitely should have been handed over regardless of the fact of their situation, or, you know, or what, like, the qualifications? So yeah, let me know.